My name's Andy and I'm the Chief Executive of Rift Social Enterprise. Rift Group is a commercial organisation, the largest in the UK, that specialises in tax refunds. And the owner of Rift Group, Jan Post, she was invited into a prison by one of her colleagues. Jan felt that she could offer some of her expertise in the world of tax to some of the residents that were at the prison. And it quickly became apparent that there was a really great need to support a lot of the men and women who go into prison, initially with tax issues such as HMRC related penalties as an example, but then it quickly became apparent that we could also support people who were interested in self-employment on release. So Jan decided to establish the social enterprise, and we've been doing great things in a number of prisons for the last 10 months or so. There's three main services. I like to see them as a beginning, middle and end of sentence service. So at the beginning, we get a lot of money in tax refunds back for people that go into prison. If people were working before they came into prison, whether that was with an employer or if they were self-employed, working under the construction industry scheme, or if they've worked for the armed forces, chances are they're entitled to tax rebates, and we're able to secure those tax refunds for them. And the average refund per person we've managed to secure so far is in the region of £560. That's money that goes straight into the resident's account, and they can use that to support somebody on the outside, to fund their resettlement plans, or however they may choose to. Secondly, we support people in prison who may have what we call issues with HMRC. So if they were self-employed, for example, before they came into prison, chances are they won't have completed their self-assessment tax return. The resident thinks that because they're in prison, HMRC know that they're in prison, so it's not a problem. HMRC don't know they're in prison, and they are likely to be accruing penalties. HMRC will be writing to them at their last known address in the community. They're not getting the letters, so they don't know they're accruing penalties. So we come in and we find out what the state of play is, and where possible, we will support them in eradicating all of those penalties that have been accruing, ready for when they get released, so that they don't have the threat of penalties hanging over their head. Finally, we provide a lot of support for people interested in self-employment on release. So we know that there are organisations that work in prisons that will offer advice, guidance, training to do with CV writing, how to write a business plan, how to develop a marketing strategy. We like to think that we do something a bit differently. We provide both a one-to-one intervention and a workshop, very short. We do a one-day workshop and a half-day workshop, which focuses on the practicalities of being self-employed. So the nuts and bolts of what you would need to know if you wanted to be self-employed on release. And that includes those who want to work under the construction industry scheme as a sole trader. So we talk about HMRC regulations, how to obtain your unique tax reference number, cash flow, profit and loss, insurances. So the framework of what you would need to know. And the advantage is that anybody that receives that intervention whilst in custody, we continue to support them for a year on release, and we complete their first self-assessment tax return for them. So three different but related services, all under the self-employment HMRC banner.